The check cleared. It was real money, and it was nowhere near the estimate. Nobody made a mistake. The reduction didn't happen after the storm. It happened at renewal, on a page you signed when nothing was broken, in 5 lines you never read. We don't work in the trades. We read the paper. For this one, that meant 4 industry endorsement forms, 2 state matching regulations, and a commissioner's bulletin. Those 5 lines don't compete for the same dollar. They stack, each one applied to whatever survived the one before it, and one of them isn't a reduction at all. It's a deadline, and it takes money back after they've already sent it. Start with the easiest one to find, because it's the one most people think they already know. You know your deductible. It's printed on your declarations page, it's a round number, and you've been quoting it for years. $1,000, $2,500. Look one line down. Most policies written in wind country carry a second deductible, and it doesn't behave like the first one. It isn't a dollar figure, it's a percentage, and it isn't taken from your claim. It's taken from coverage A, the dwelling limit, the number that says what it would cost to rebuild your whole house. The Insurance Information Institute puts the common range at 1 to 5%. One arithmetic example runs through this video, and I want to be clear about what it is. The numbers are mine. They're not market data. They're round so you can follow the order of operations, which is the part that matters. Coverage A of $400,000, a 2% wind and hail deductible. That's $8,000 gone before the insurer owes you a cent on a policy whose declarations page also says, in larger type, 1,000. Find that line, multiply it yourself, do it before the storm, because the arithmetic doesn't get friendlier after. So 8,000 comes off. What's left should be the roof because you bought replacement cost. Your policy says so. It does say so. It also says how it pays. Under a replacement cost settlement, most carriers pay in 2 pieces. The first check is actual cash value, the cost of the new roof minus depreciation for the age and condition of the old one. The rest is held back. The industry calls it recoverable depreciation. It's your money, and you get it when the work is done, and you send in the invoices. That structure exists for a reason that isn't sinister. It stops people cashing a roof check and never replacing the roof. But recoverable depreciation is recoverable on a clock. The loss settlement condition in your own policy sets a window, a period after the date of loss inside which the work has to be done and claimed. Miss it, and the holdback stops being yours. That window is a sentence in Section 1 of your policy, which means you can read it today in about 90 seconds. Back to the example. Say the roof runs $20,000 and $8,000 of that is depreciation. The first check is $12,000 minus the $8,000 deductible, $4,000 against a $20,000 roof. The other $8,000 is real, and it's on a timer. The decision here is small, and it's the highest return move in this video. The day the first check arrives, open the policy, find the deadline, put it on a calendar. Both of those subtract from a number. But in both cases, somebody walked the roof, wrote an estimate, and produced that number in the first place. The next 3 don't do that. The next 3 decide what the estimator is allowed to write down. None of them is on the first page. All of them are on the endorsement list. The first is a table. There's a standard industry endorsement, Form HO0493, titled Actual Cash Value Loss Settlement, Windstorm or Hail Losses to Roof Surfacing. It's circulated in several editions going back to 1999, and what it does is narrow. It takes the loss settlement condition you just read and changes it for the roof surface only, from replacement cost to actual cash value. Then it defines roof surfacing, so there's no argument later. Shingles or tiles, cladding, metal or synthetic sheeting, flashing. That's the plain version. There's a harder one. A second family of forms, including the industry's HO0646 and a long list of carrier-written equivalents, doesn't just switch you to actual cash value. It defines actual cash value with a table. Payment is the cost of repair or replacement multiplied by a percentage, and that percentage is found by crossing the age of the roof surfacing against the type of material. Read that twice, because it's the entire point. Under that endorsement, nobody assesses your roof. A well-kept 15-year-old roof and a neglected one draw the same percentage. The table has no column for how you kept it. The signal is the word schedule or the word percentage sitting on your endorsement list. Carriers name these differently. Roof surfacing payment schedule, scheduled roof settlement, limited loss settlement for windstorm or hail, and the table is a filed document lodged with the state insurance department. If one is attached to your policy, you're entitled to see the actual grid, not a description of it. Ask for the schedule by name. The second one doesn't reduce the payment, it removes the damage. Form HO0644 is the roof surfacing cosmetic damage exclusion for windstorm or hail. It excludes damage limited to appearance, where the look of the roof surface is affected but its function isn't. Sit with that because it breaks an assumption almost everybody carries. Covered peril plus visible damage equals a payable claim. Under this endorsement, that chain snaps in the middle. The hail is a covered peril, the dents are on your roof. The adjuster agrees the hail put them there, and the claim is still zero, on a finding that the shingles still shed water, which collapses the dispute into one word: functionality. So don't argue appearance. Photographs of dents are appearance. What moves a cosmetic finding is evidence about function. Granule loss, fractured mat, the manufacturer's own damage guidance, a report on whether that shingle performs for its remaining service life. That's a different document than the one most people bring. The third one is the strangest because the answer isn't in your policy at all. 1 slope takes the hail, 3 are untouched. Your shingle was discontinued 6 years ago. The insurer offers to replace the damaged slope, and you're left owning a house with 2 different roofs on it. Whether they owe you the whole roof is usually not a policy question. It's a regulatory one, and it changes at the state line. These rules trace back to one model regulation from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, which states adopted in different words. The different words are the whole story. Iowa's version, Administrative Code Section 191-15.44, requires the insurer to replace as much as is necessary to produce a reasonably uniform appearance within the same line of sight. Line of sight: what you can see from one standing position. Kentucky went the other way. In a bulletin dated October 17, 2023, the state's insurance commissioner wrote that Kentucky does not permit a line of sight rule for roofs. If one slant has to be replaced and matching shingles aren't available, an entirely new roof goes on. Tennessee runs its own rule, numbered 0780-01-05-10. And in Florida, the Office of Insurance Regulation has approved forms from multiple carriers that cap what the insurer pays to match undamaged material. That's the industry doing at the form level what it couldn't do at the regulation level. So the question was never whether matching is covered. It's what your state's rule says, and whether your carrier filed an endorsement that overrides it. Both are documents with numbers, both are public. Step back from roofs for a second. What all 5 share is that none of them showed up when you needed help. Everyone arrived when nothing was wrong. Folded into a renewal packet, listed as a form number on a page headed endorsements, sometimes attached in exchange for a premium credit you took on purpose. A policy is not a promise to make you whole. It's a formula with your name on it. The endorsements are where that formula gets edited, quietly, by a document that reads like an inventory. Same with auto policies, home warranties, extended service contracts. The expensive paper in your house is never the paper that arrives during the emergency. It's the paper that arrives while everything is fine. None of this is an accusation. These forms are filed and approved. Some are the reason a carrier is willing to write your house at all, and some you took a discount for. A company doing an honest job hands you the endorsement list and the schedule table without a fight. The ones that won't are telling you something. So, this week, declarations page in front of you, 5 lines. 1. The wind and hail deductible. Is it a percentage, and of what? Multiply it out. 2. The loss settlement basis for roof surfacing, replacement cost, actual cash value, or a schedule. 3. Whether a cosmetic damage exclusion is attached. For 2 and 3, look for form numbers in the HO04 and HO06 series. 4. The deadline on recoverable depreciation in the loss settlement condition. Write it somewhere that isn't the policy. 5. Your state's matching rule and whether an endorsement overrides it. 10 minutes. And the leverage is real, because every one of those 5 is negotiable at renewal, and none of them is negotiable after a storm. One note on scope. This is about how these forms are written, not about your policy. Editions differ, and state law changes what a form is allowed to do. The declarations page in your hand and the rule in your state govern. A claim already in dispute is work for a public adjuster or an attorney.